Al's a very lucky man. Al's a very lucky man. All the Priscilla fans are all jealous because Al got stepped on by Priscilla. They're all like, me too, please. Me too, please. But no, what a fantastic episode. Unfortunately, the mid-season finale, so we have a almost 3-month wait, February 5th, before the next episode airs. And that sucks because we've just basically built up everything. We knew this is where it was going. Like, we're going to just have this kind of cool down period before the massive battle that's coming up. Get a nice little tease into having Subaru and Reinhard facing up against Regulus and just stop. And we'll see you in a few months. It sucks. It really does suck. But still, episode 58 was a really solid episode. Some really cool insights into stuff. Honestly, kind of getting confirmations on a lot of stuff that I think a few people of us have been kind of speculating on. I mean, especially around the idea of who these soldiers are, these witches cultist members, who they are. Now it seems like Wilhelm is pretty convinced that one of them is in fact, yes, his wife. Now that was a little crazy. That was a little crazy. I guess I really kind of expected that the other person probably wouldn't be something that we know about, but at least with this one, very significant character for the story, and it's tragic. The idea that Wilhelm now has to face his wife yet again. And for those that missed it, yes, they did put up the key art for the next half, and it does feature the wife. So it's like the key art basically confirms it. I mean, right now it's speculation from Wilhelm. That's confirming it. Now, the question mark that I have is the idea of the divine protection of death or whatever it was. This idea that whatever she cuts is not healable. I'm wondering if that's something that she had or something that was bestowed upon her. It seems like that's obviously something that Wilhelm used to identify who she was. He could have identified who she was based on her fighting skill, because it did seem like when he was fighting, it seemed like it kind of dawned onto him, yeah, this is who I'm fighting, even though she is fully covered up. He might have seen her face, but he knew based on how she was fighting probably who she was. But that sucks. That sucks. And it does seem like he wants to keep Reinhard away from it. Even though Reinhard wants to get involved, he's like, no, I haven't lost my edge. I fought the whale. It's not that rusty. I'm still massively OP. But no, it finally does confirm why Wilhelm got so mad at Reinhard. He blamed Reinhard because Reinhard got that protection bestowed upon him, and it pulled it away from his wife, thus making her just a normal swordswoman that was out in the battlefield. Super sucks. I guess that technically does make sense. Like, I hate the fact that you have it, and he mistakenly blamed Reinhard for it. Even though Reinhard had nothing to do with it. He had this thing placed upon him, this burden that was placed upon him out of nowhere. He didn't say, man, please give me the blessing right now while my grandmother's fighting. No, it just came upon him, which finally answered that question, because I had speculation that the reason why he got mad at Reinhard was that because Wilhelm was specifically saying, I wasn't there. And I thought that meant that Reinhard did something that caused Wilhelm to have to be there. So something to the effect that there was one of the royal family members went missing or something like that, and he got mad at Reinhard. And I thought that was because Reinhard was involved in that. No, this confirms no. It was just the simple fact that he took that blessing from her, made her normal, and then she got killed. Really does suck. Really does suck. But other than that, yes, really solid episode. I really loved Priscilla's introduction coming in there. You got Liliana's just doing the song. She walks in there, just smacks Al, steps on him. It's just a really good introduction for her to just come in there out of nowhere, just have like the welcoming party and everything. But speaking of Liliana, finally get a confirmation on what I've been speculating for literally this entire season. The moment that they introduced Liliana, I had the prediction that she had some sort of ability to see what people are thinking, see what people are feeling, and that's how she was able to sing those songs. So when she's singing in front of all those people, she's singing about their poverty and their struggles. And yeah, that would make sense to when they're going around each one of these locations and she's singing things that will kind of appease them. She's using telepathy. Now, it didn't really get into details on how that exactly works. It just says it's the divine protection of telepathy. That could be the idea that she's able to speak into people's minds and they're able to hear what she's singing even deeper. But my prediction was the idea that she was pulling information from them and singing for them. It obviously seems like she has no clue about it. Like when you have this moment where Reinhard, out of nowhere, creates the protection of judgment. I love how Subaru reacts to that. He's like, no, that's not as surprising. The fact that you just got it. He just like, hold on a second. Yeah, I just got the divine protection of judgment. Let me go ahead and use it really quickly. And Subaru's like, wait, you just got that? Like, what the hell? I guess it makes sense because the idea that he is somebody that is able to absorb things, but it almost makes it out like he has like this catalog of blessings that he could just kind of bring into himself whenever he wants. It was really crazy. And he just looks at Liliana. She got that whole little shock thing going on. But again, it kind of implied, based on him telling her, you have the protection of telepathy, she doesn't seem bothered by it. Like she's bothered by it, but she doesn't seem to be like, I've been figured out. Yeah, that makes sense because I was able to do this. No, it just seems like this is something that she's doing passively. This is not something that she's doing because she wants to. So that was really cool there. But again, it doesn't really specify is she pulling it from people or sending it to people. But either way, this seems to be the reason why she's able to do this. And so, yeah, Priscilla just completely baits her into it. Oh, so you have all that knowledge and skill from your family, and you're just going to let it just stay right there. That's a bummer. She gets all mad, starts just ranting around. Whatever, fine, I'll do it. Priscilla knows how to work her bad. But no, the interesting thing in that first little segment there was obviously the Tome of Wisdom. And we finally get a clear idea of why there is a Tome of Wisdom they're looking for. That yes, it actually still does exist. Now, the moment that this was revealed that Otto had it, I was like, okay, I'm already sus about Otto. Like, I for those who don't know, haven't watched my videos, I have been massively sus of Otto for a long time. Like, I feel like at some point he's just going to suddenly be the mastermind behind everything, the puppeteer, the secret agent the entire time. I mean, he's a secret agent still at this moment for Subaru, but I still feel this guy is a little bit too in the know. Like he knows too much and he does too many things. And so right here when he revealed that, I'm like, don't tell me it's the tome that was inside of the library. That he went inside there and got that. Like he used some kind of power to teleport himself in there when it was burning and grab it when it was like the whole thing was collapsing. No, it was the one that Ram had. The rose walls, the one that she burned. And then even then it's like, it's still super sus. I mean, Rosewall was very distraught at that moment, and obviously Ram was dying. So I guess there's plenty of time for him to maybe send a creature in there to grab it, or for him to rush by and grab it. But it's like, if Rosewall couldn't grab it, why was he able to grab it? It's like, what? This dude's super sus. Like, Otto is still super sus. Like, I don't trust this guy. I don't trust him. But that aside, it was burned. He's trying to restore it because he's trying to see what was in there. He's trying to figure out what Rosewall's been doing. He's still suspicious of Rosewall. Now, based on the ending of that whole situation with the Sanctuary, yes, we did establish that Rosewall did put a spell upon himself that he can't turn on them again. So Otto is actually very smart here in wanting to know what's in the book to see if he has actually pre-planned something. That makes perfect sense. He still doesn't trust Rosewall. He doesn't. And that makes perfect sense. I don't trust him. It was only really the fact that he had that spell that does kind of make you somewhat trust him. It kind of gave this indication that he didn't want to wrong them ever again. But you could still acknowledge that this guy still has something he wants to do. It not that everything that happened with the Ram suddenly makes him go, look, I you guys are right. I'll never do it again. This guy's crafty. And this sort of indicates, with Otto's suspicion of him, it sort of does indicate this idea that even at this point, he's not feeling like, oh, well, you guys beat me, so I trust you now. No, he probably at that point knew that something was already in play, and he didn't need to have to fight back. He didn't need to, at that point, fight back. Otto's making perfect sense here in the idea that, yes, technically, if he had pre-planned something, if he has something that is delayed, he doesn't have to do anything. He just has to be there. So he's not, in a sense, because of that, because it's something that's delayed, something that will come up later that he's already pre-planned and he just needs to be there, it's not going to be affected by the curse or the spell that he put upon himself because he's not doing anything. It's set to happen in motion. He's not directly affecting whatever has been pre-planned until it actually snaps. Now, the question is, does when it finally trigger, does whatever he pre-planned come into effect? Does at that point cause the spell to harm him? That's the question mark. Or he looks for some way to undo it. I'll be curious. I still don't trust Otto. I still don't trust Otto. I want to. He's a bro. Otto is a bro. And it might be the idea that I just don't, he's so crafty that it's sort of playing against that, but I still don't trust Otto. I'm sorry. He's a bro, but he's a sus bro. He's a sus bro. Now, the following scene, that was very interesting. The idea that Subaru goes to meet with Krush. He's invited in to see Krush. My gosh, Felix. I feel so bad for Felix, dude. I feel so bad for the guy. He is so distraught about this whole situation. But there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Subaru, when he's talking to Krush, ends up starting to draw the dragon's blood out of her. I'm assuming it's the dragon blood, or it's the curse itself of the dragon's blood. Something is being drawn out of Krush whenever he touches her. Pain. So much pain. Felix's response is, I want to do it too. Like, literally, Subaru pulls it out of Krush. And what is Felix's response? Let me try it too. I'll get the rest of it. Let me have it all. Like, there's no care whatsoever for his own life. All he can think about is, this can happen. Let me do it. Let me take it all. I don't care about the repercussions. Take me instead. That shows that dedication that he has for Krush. I will take it all. Please give it to me. Every bit of it, every ounce of it. I can finally do something for the one that I care so much about. I hurt so much when it was like, please, just like just panicking. Please, it's not working. Why is it not working? And even like the later part when, Krush says, don't take it all. You have to fight. We can't both be down. Just tell me that you'll handle it all. Even in that moment, telling Felix, no, I need you to handle this stuff. I need your help. I need you to help us. It sucks. I can't help the one that I want to help the most. I'm useless here where I want to be. And I can help all these other people, but I can't help the one that I love. It sucks so bad. Bane. Oh, that was a hard scene to get through. That was a very hard scene. It seemed, yes, kind of a little bit convenient that Subaru is able to take away that curse or take away that blood. But at the same time, it makes sense because what we kind of indicated here that the curse, whatever's inside of him, is actually helping him. It wants to help him. And again, this is supposed to be that dragon's blood. This is something that was given to the royal family from the dragon. And it seems to indicate the idea here that Subaru is sort of being, rather than being taken over like it typically does, it seems like it's going out of its way to protect him. That's like that whole shot that we get when he first was kind of being pulled through all the water. He, in his mind, he's seen the dragon come out and push back the other mobbies. Like this something is trying to take him over, and the dragon comes out, the dragon's blood comes out and fights it back. And right here, I can assume that it's probably not trying to help Subaru help Krush, but it's more so probably it's trying to pull in more power so that it can be stronger. It's like its instincts is to say, not that I want to save Krush, it's to say, ooh, more power, give it to me. I can use that to help with Subaru and help with whatever I want to do. The question mark's going to be, is it trying to help Subaru or is it trying to use Subaru? I think it's in the end probably going to be wanting to use Subaru. So at some point, it could come to a point where Subaru is losing control because it's trying to take over, because it's trying to exact what it wants to do. And Subaru is the only person that it seems like it can do it with. Question mark is it because Subaru is an Isekai? Or is it because Subaru has a broken gate? It's able to use that? Is it using possibly a bit of envy that's inside of him? That's all the massive question mark that I'm curious they'll get into. But yes, following this, we get Wilhelm's reveal that he knows who the two soldiers are. Again, one being this Kurgan guy, which he says this person with multiple arms that died like 10 years ago. That's interesting. And again, I kind of assume that based on a couple of things that he was sort of implying there, especially with what was happening with Theresia. Which again, Theresia is the question mark that I have. The other one is Theresia. She died, of course, with the fight of the White Whale, and it seems like she's been resurrected. And again, seems to indicate that she had this ability that somebody else had that was bestowed upon them, this like protection of death or whatever, which is kind of curious. And that could very well be. She could have very well had both the divine protection and that ability that was bestowed upon her, and that's why she was so powerful. But yeah, the story itself is super tragic. And again, it does kind of finally answer why he snapped at Reinhard, this whole mistake that he made that he massively regrets, and that he wants to take care of it. And yeah, there's no problem. She's gonna come after me. And I wonder how he has that confidence that no matter what, Reinhard won't run into her. She's not going to end up somewhere else. She's going to come after me. Sort of imply this idea that despite the fact that they're dead, despite the fact that they were resurrected with the spell, it seems like they still have something in their mind that will seek out. Like she will still seek him out. Does he have some sort of feeling that she would hate him? That's a question mark. Yeah, then we have the meeting to decide where everybody goes, which there was a few points in here that was super cool. And again, the whole aspect of, looking into Liliana's power and all that stuff. Goofy Liliana faces the entire time. So many good Liliana points in this episode. But no, there's a few points in here that I really like. Of course, they decide for Wrath. Priscilla and Liliana is going to go there. That makes sense, again, because Liliana can overcome what Wrath is doing, which I think is perfect. If Priscilla is as strong as it seems like she is, based on that OP, based on her drawing out that blade and just slicing up crap, that's perfect. Because Reinhard easily took down Wrath. It doesn't seem like Wrath herself is very powerful. It just seems like Wrath is powerful because she can control other people. That's her main thing there. So if you can have Liliana take care of that stuff, Priscilla can wipe him out. Lust is Garf and Wilhelm, which again, that makes sense. Garf has to get his revenge for everything that happened with Mimi. We're gonna get Garf getting his revenge for Mimi, and then yes, of course, Wilhelm in order to take out his wife. Now, the interesting thing there is Wilhelm and Garf strong enough to take down Lust? That's a big, massive question mark. I mean, yes, Wilhelm, with the aid of other people, took down the White Will, but taking down an archbishop, I wonder. He is very powerful, no doubt, but he's not a sword saint. This guy is not of the level of somebody like Reinhard, and we're expecting Priscilla to take down Wrath, but again, I think that's because I don't think Wrath is that strong. Reinhard going after Greed makes perfect sense. Greed seems like he is massively, I think of all of them, I think Greed's probably the strongest. If not, Greed and Lust, I think, are the two strongest. Wrath doesn't seem that strong. Gluttony doesn't seem that strong. Again, it seems like more the aspect of having all these mob beasts is what make Gluttony strong. But Greed and Lust, I think, are the most strong. And Lust has a lot to do with the fact that she can regenerate herself. Now, they might figure out a way in order to undo that, but I still question if Garf and Wilhelm can take down Lust. That seems like a massive, massive question mark. I don't think they specify where Al's going. I'm assuming Al's going to go with Priscilla and Liliana. I don't recall them saying where Al was going to go. Of course, we don't have a clear picture as to how powerful Al is. And I will admit that technically, as much as I don't think that Gluttony is that crazy powerful, Julius and Ricardo is a massive question mark too. Again, I think it's more in the fact that I haven't seen them be that great, but I think a lot of Julius is his own self-doubt. He seems very powerful. It just seems like he has a lot of doubt in himself because he's not as powerful as Reinhard. So, I don't know. I can see him possibly doing it. I mean, he messed up Lust pretty bad that one time, blasted off her entire face. But, yeah, we'll see there too. But no, what I liked about this whole situation of, kind of divvying everybody out, you have this brief moment that seemed like Reinhard was worried for his grandfather. That was super cool. His grandfather basically saying, no, kid, I got this. I'm not rusty. I was able to take down the White Whale. I'm good. But also, Garf. I loved Garf in this little scene here because, yes, at first he's like, wait, Subaru, what about Amelia? Let me help out Amelia. No, Reinhard's going to handle that whole situation. He's got it handled. What did Garf do? Bowed to Reinhard. Again, this is somebody that really did mess with him and mess with his self-confidence. After Reinhard basically stopped his attack with just his palm of his hand, like, hey, chill out there, bro. It messed with Garf's mind. He got really mad about Reinhard. Right here, he literally is sucking up his pride and bowing in front of Reinhard to say, please take care of my boy and take care of Amelia. Like, he's asking him, begging him, please to handle this. And I love Reinhard's response here of like, yeah, I'm going to place my faith in you just if you put me. And it's like, these two, I like this. It's super cool. But then something very interesting happens. And I mean, it makes perfect sense. Again, we just had this moment where Reinhard is literally using this ability to see what blessing this girl has. He immediately over here, Subaru's like, thanks, and he thumbs up. And it pretty clearly shows this is a hand that's fully covered with this curse from this dragon's blood. And Reinhard responds to it. He has a little bit of a shock there, and Subaru's like, what's going on? He's like, oh, don't worry about it. It seems like it's something that you're not really worried about anyways. I would assume that he's responding to the curse in his hand, how it's kind of spread into his hand, and he possibly sees at that moment what it is. Because again, I didn't use this like ability to identify hers. He probably at that moment identified Subaru's. I wish he said what it was. It's like, you've seen something there. Why not just say, hey, yeah, this, just so he knows. But I guess it'll probably be something that will come up later. Like, oh yeah, that's what he's seen. I kind of wonder at this point if it's something that the light novel was very clear what it was. We'll let the anime tell it. It'll probably end up being in a freaking short. We'll see. But yeah, that all wraps up with the wedding, which I have to admit, a little bummed. I mean, it was a great scene. Like, I think the whole segment with Emilia basically expressing what it's like to be married, at what love is, the importance of a name, everything that Subaru has taught her. Subaru. The entire time, Regulus is like, who's this Subaru guy? Why the hell are you talking about some other dude in front of me? But again, it kind of gets that mixture between like what she sees love is based on what she's researched and what Subaru has taught her, and this sick, twisted mindset that Regulus has of like assigning numbers and how like a name is just like worried about appearance and all this kind of stuff. And yes, like just how he controls them all and puts them into the situation. But the thing that I was really bummed about, what really bummed me out about this scene is that I was expecting Emilia was going to do something. And so there's a side of me that's a little bit disappointed that it resolves with Subaru showing up to save her. Like it almost implied with Emilia and her being over here is that she wanted to do something to help Subaru. It felt like that moment of finally Emilia's going to step up and she's going to do something. I'm not going to let Subaru have to worry about me. I'm not going to wait for him. I'm going to do what I can do now. I'm going to make sure that I set everything up. Now, yes, it did get eventually to the point where he does make his speech and she's like, oh, that's my knight. He's coming for me. I feel safe now. That's the words I need to hear, whatever, that I'm going to fight back to. And then she said something to the effect that she was going to do something. She didn't do anything. She just, I guess the idea is that she was hoping that she could talk some sense into Regulus, which, I mean, that's fine and all. But I thought that she was going to like, I don't know, spring up a trap on him or something. Like he was going to get with the other wives or get with 184 and they were going to spring some trap upon Regulus. But no, she just said Subaru, and then Subaru saves her. That's a bummer. Like the fact that it ends with literally Subaru, and which was a great little intro, by the way. It just ends with Subaru and Regulus doing the crashing the wedding routine. I was bummed. I didn't have expectations that Emilia was going to beat Regulus. Don't get me wrong. I had no expectations that Emilia can beat Regulus. Again, Regulus feels like he is literally the most OP character out of all the archbishops, aside from maybe Lust because she can regenerate so well. Now, we don't know if Regulus can regenerate too, so there's a question mark there. But I was kind of hoping that at least she would spring her trap, she would fight back for a little bit, and then maybe at some point, yes, when she's at her worst, and then you have Subaru and Reinhard show up. So it's kind of a bummer. Now, I thought it would be funny that they could tell this joke when it comes back. I kind of find it funny that he didn't invite Subaru. He said that he was going to have Subaru be there. And so I kind of feel like that'll be probably the joke when it comes back is, I didn't invite you guys here. And Subaru's like, yeah, you did. Yes, you technically did invite me. But no, I did like the fact that they both kick the doors and Reinhardt kicks it so hard that the door that Reinhardt kicked goes flying and right into Regulus. Subaru's like, hey, wait, you kicked it way harder. You messed up my intro. It was great. But no, Regulus like getting into the whole aspect of why the girls don't smile and the idea of like, you know, how some of them, whenever they laugh, they look ugly. I don't want anything to change. It almost has this kind of sense that Regulus wants everything to be as it is, and he doesn't like anything that'll show that signs that it'll change. So he doesn't like the idea they smile, have joy, or anything else. Don't show expressions because right now what I see is just perfect. And he's almost too afraid to see that change. So don't try to do anything else because then you'll show me a side of you I don't want to see and it'll ruin what it is now. It is kind of a weird quirk for him to have. But it was interesting that he did note the 79 thing because that was a question mark that I had. Well, technically when he first revealed that she was going to be 79, I was like, holy crap, he's got 79. And then we find out that he has way more than that. The question mark was 79 somebody that died and he's just putting somebody in that place? No, he reveals that, no, 79 was for a really important, a special person. And at some point they realized they weren't what they wanted. So something changed in them that ruined it. There was a woman that I thought was perfect when I first saw her, but before we married, I determined that she was unsuitable and left it open. I wonder who that could be. If this is actually somebody important or if it's just kind of his way of saying that you're the perfect one to fit in there and I had it open for you. I kind of wonder if it possibly might be somebody that looks like Emilia. Could this be possibly Fortuna? Could have this been possibly the Witch of Envy? It would actually make a lot of sense if it ends up being Fortuna because that would fit into my theory on Wrath. And the idea that when he first seen Fortuna and then they had that whole fight, he might have actually planned on having her take that position. And then afterwards, yeah, of course he gets teleported out And then maybe later on, he ends up running into Fortuna, now Wrath, and suddenly she's very expressive and she does all this laughing and everything. And he's suddenly like, I don't like her anymore. And then it just kind of puts that aside. And that would explain why he has so many spouts with Wrath when we see them together. The idea that he just doesn't like her anymore. Doesn't like her. She's obsessed with this pedal goose guy and she's so expressive and she's always laughing and being very over dramatic. I can see that. I can see that kind of playing into his dislike of them, having expressions and whatnot. But yeah, that whole scene was great. I love how expressive Regulus is. Like, you're violating my rights. You're violating my rights. You're not being considerate. I've been super considerate of you, but it's completely lost upon you. And she's like, no, that's not what love is. Love is this. He's like, what the hell, dude? This isn't working how it's supposed to. You're supposed to listen to me. He's such a dirtbag. I just feel bad for all the girls in there. Like Amelia's just completely egging him on, and they're all just like, I don't want to be here. He's gonna kill me. Please don't upset him. Like, all the girls are shocked, obviously, because they're like, somebody's actually standing up against this guy, and they've probably all witnessed him kill different wives, and that they're like, why? What is this girl doing? And it's like, I feel so bad because they're all like gonna die. They're all probably in their heads going, please shut up, please shut up, please shut up. Anyways, that's my thoughts on episode 58. Unfortunate wait for the next season or the next part of this season to come out, but I'll be here when it does. We're gonna have a crazy winter season being kicking off at that point. That's the other sucky part, is we're gonna be like jumping into an insane winter season. So the fact that this is gonna be, taking a break is probably a good thing, because then the new season can start up. We can kind of get settled, and then February 5th hits, and bam, ReZero is back. But the wait sucks. It's going to be super crazy. I'm super looking forward to it. But until then, I hope you guys enjoyed my impressions of the season so far. If you did, hit the like button down below. Comment, let me know what's the episode. Again, if you are a light novel reader, I don't need answers to any of the questions I have been asking. I'm just speculating, having fun. But until next time, y'all take care.